Everybody. Here we are, another session of Coming Into Being. As I type in my little message, as always, I feel like I can't walk and chew gum at the same time when I do this. Here we go. All right, send that off, and welcome to Instagram also. So if I look a little crooked, it's because the floor is a little bit like this really old building that I'm in. So anyways, welcome to Coming Into Being. Coming into being is that space, is that time for you to just take a pause from your daily activities wherever you are and give yourselves that time to connect with yourself. Hey Laria, good to see you. And for me, this is about coming back to basics. There's a lot of great stuff out there you can do for yourself, and there's a lot of stuff that you have to move through life. And it's always for coming into being, it's about that bottom line, that basics that you need to come back to. Whatever you're doing, wherever else life takes you, you want this to that beingness from here, connecting with yourself, coming in from within and moving from that place into whatever it is that you're going to. So coming into that place of full connection with yourself, of being complete, really present with yourself, being right here, not over there, not in the past, not in the future, not with somebody else who's not there, right here, right now in yourself. So this is, I don't have any water. This is what this is all about. So I might get a little pasty mouth as I'm talking, but we'll just ignore that. Anyways, so let's start by just taking a nice deep breath in. Hold at the top and then exhale it, and exhale it all the way out. Really just pushing that breath all the way out of your body, squeezing all the air out. Then when you get to that bottom, your breath is going to just open right back up and pull that oxygen in. Hey, Kayla, that oxygen that you need in your body. So just allow yourself to do it. And then just sit and look around your wherever you're sitting in your environment. Just take a moment to just notice what's around you. We get so busy with stuff, and just so habituated as to where things are. So just taking a moment to notice what is actually around you. Notice the little details. Maybe the carving in the furniture, the fold in uh, the material that's on the sofa or on the cushion where somebody was sitting on, and so that cushion is all kind of bent out of shape. Notice those details. Don't If you're looking at fabric, I mean, there's that flow of that line of from that crease of the fabric, the different lines. You can even look at your hands for a minute and notice the lines in your hands. Some people have a lot of lines. I've got a ton of lines in my hands. Beyond just um, the usual lines. Hey, Diana. And take a minute to just look at those. Look at your hands, your fingerprints, and really become aware of yourself, your surroundings. So already just doing that helps us to just come a little bit more into the present moment and be just take that mind off of wherever else it's going to go. you know how that goes, right? And letting yourself just relax a little bit more into your breath. You might want to take some deeper breaths. Really fill up your lungs. Exhale out, taking it all in. But if you want, you could close your eyes. Really feel the movement of the breath, or the movement that the breath is creating in your body. That expansion. And it's kind of interesting because when we breathe, our chest expands this way, but there's an expansion that happens down as the diaphragm pushes down to make room for the lungs as they fill up. And then hold it, even if it's just one for one count, hold it at the top of the breath and then release it out. Release it out through your mouth. Just allowing all that stuff that's not present moment to just kind of go out with the breath. And you can even do that with kind of a sigh. Take a deep breath in, just like when you're sighing. And then just come into the regular movement of the breath. It's interesting because when you get that breath going, sometimes you get these yawns that just start happening because that's the movement of energy that's happening in your system. And so it starts to make things move more, and your breath to come in more, taking those yawns. So they're not yawns out of tiredness; they're yawns out of that energy movement. And yawning is a way to really help that shift and then open up. And bring your awareness into your chest. Whether you keep your eyes open or not, it doesn't matter. You can do it both ways. And see if you can have a sense of your heartbeat. So it can be, you start with hearing it if you hear it, or feeling it. It might be really soft. Like mine is, it's like when it's really soft, you have to kind of drop your awareness into it a little bit more, and that's good. Taking that time to connect with yourself. This is what we're doing here. Yourself, this is yourself here. Yourself is your body. Your emotions and your thoughts have a tendency to not be you. They have a tendency to be coming from something else, not the present moment. When we get really upset about something, it's usually there's conditioning around something in the past that causes us to get upset about what's happening in the present. The person didn't respond the way we wanted them to. And it goes back to sometime in the past, something that happened that upset us, and that emotional conditioning stays with us and then gets re-triggered over and over and over again. So the real you, well, we could go two ways with that. At the physical level, it's your physical body in here and now. The real you at a deeper level is your spirit being. That's the true you. So when we take time to connect with ourselves, as we're doing now, just kind of letting ourselves sink into our physical bodies, our breath, the heartbeat, feeling at a deeper level. You can even go deeper than that, go into feeling your digestive system working, your blood pumping, moving through your veins, getting pumped through your veins. The nervous system sending out signals. Sometimes you can do that. You have to kind of really get quiet, really slow your attention, your awareness, your mind down to that level. So even just slowing yourself down enough, really, you start to kind of have a sense. When we connect with ourselves at this deeper level and quiet the mind down, that's when we can start having a cleaner sense of our spirit, our true self, our, you can kind of say our real self. And so, in that connection, as the mind quiets down, you start to pay attention to your physical body and separating out from the physical environment. So there's you, there's your physical environment. This is where it all enter the skin level. That's where they touch. But you aren't your environment. So when we have that distinction of that skin and feeling that separation from the physical environment, can start to have a sense of something else around you. So while you stay centered in yourself and start to kind of pay attention to what you're feeling, what you're sensing around you. And just notice what you notice. Just notice what you're feeling. Does it feel light? Like if you put your awareness, so imagine just like right next to your head or right next to the sides of your body or front and back. See if you can do at least both sides or front and back at the same time or all the way around. If you can be that flexible in your awareness and just see what that feels like. There's going to be different levels of what you feel. So does it feel light? Does it feel bubbly? Does it feel tingly? Does it feel like sparkly? Does it feel heavy? If you're focusing on more than one area, it's like, well, okay, this one side feel heavier than the other. There's going to be actually different things that I'm bringing up as I ask those questions. One is that it's your physical, I'm sorry, not your physical, the presence of your spirit. And things when you're noticing like there's a maybe just that feels like there's more denseness on one side, it could feel heavier, it could feel in a lot of different ways, and on the other side there isn't. That's starting to tune into, you're starting to have a sense of stuff that's around you. So you're becoming aware of the non-physical stuff. Usually, if you're feeling around there, I mean, It's coming in close. This is actually really complex because it's like you could be feeling something that's your present moment environment. So it could be your distortions that you have around you. It could be other people's frequencies, energies that are around you. Keep going like this because that's kind of lots. It seems to be coming up here that there's stuff here for. So if you're noticing that this side, right hand is side is a little heavier than left side, that's means there. That's why I'm going like this. You can also be tapping into different dimensions when you're feeling that. So it gets very complex actually when we start to feel into the information that is around us, around our physical beings. So we've got the physical beings and we've got these other level dimensions. Just without getting into too much details with that, feeling our physical beings and bringing in the feeling our spirits right there, we're talking about two different dimensions. So we are multidimensional. We live in this physical reality and we live at the same time in another level. So starting to understand that it's not an either or thing. It's we're in both, in multiple simultaneously. So coming into ourselves, coming into being is really about bringing all these into alignment into this present moment, not being all over the place. So physical body is the strongest anchor that we can use because we are in this physical body. Our spirits are coming into this physical structure of the body. You know, this is the physical home of your spirit, the body you have. So there's a question about, well, illness. So at those deeper levels, illness, we've got a health issue. At those deeper levels, there's different things that could be going on. You, it, basically, it's about you not being present in that area of your body for whatever reasons. And there's going to be a lot of different reasons. There's patterns that are distorting you and patterns that can be from this or energies. Let's just stick with the word energy of frequencies. So taking, for example, knee, if you have a knee issue, there are just distortions, distorted frequencies in energies in that area, in the knee, that are not you, and you meaning your spirit. So that comes through, kind of one of the links between the physical body and the spirit is your awareness. So coming into having your awareness in your knee, so as an example, the more you bring it into your knee, the more you will clear out what is not you, and the more the body can shift and heal itself and restore itself to where it needs to be at. Yeah, that's another complex subject. So this is kind of just that first layer of understanding. But basically, if there's illness, it's where you are not in your body where you're not present, where you don't have that awareness. So let's take a moment to just kind of go through your body, find an area where you notice that it's like, okay, well, I'm not really sure if I can feel myself there. So it could be like your lower back. It could be even your elbows. Could be the back of your thighs. It could be not the big toe, not the little toe, but one of the toes in between. So just notice an area where if you just kind of, without looking at it, just feel like, okay, what does that feel like? Do I know what that third toe feels like without touching it? Okay. Or your lower back. Just find an area. It doesn't matter. You can find any area behind your ears. Or even that space between your back, your ears, or your ears attached to your head and towards the back. Could be the top of your head too. And start putting your awareness on that area. And just breathe into it. Just bring your awareness into that area and just breathe into it. So breathing into that means you have your it's like, okay, you're imagining you're feeling the top of your head, for example. And with your breath, it's like you direct your awareness even more into that. And that area could start to feel maybe tingly, have a different sensation than when you first put your awareness on it. So keep noticing it. See and see if you can have a sense of the details of that area. Is there clothing? Is there, if it's top of your head, you'll have the hair follicles, you'll have the scalp. If it's like your lower back, there's layers of clothes on there maybe. There's also hair and skin. There might be pressure on that area from like the pillow. Like if it's your lower back, you could be sitting against a pillow and you have that pressure from the pillow in your back where they meet. Is that area hot? Is that area cold? When you bring your awareness, that temperature might start to feel different. And you're feeling tension, what you can do is just feel that tension. You breathe into that tension, meaning you have your awareness really anchored in that area as you take your breath in. And on the exhale, feel yourself just breathing out all the tension, letting it release out. And keep doing that, feeling yourself go into that. If there's tension that starts or pain that starts coming up, breathing into that more deeply. So allowing your mind to connect even more deeply with the pain, with the tension, with the tightness, as if you're sinking into it more. And if there isn't all that, that's good. Just go to the tissues of the body of that area. And just kind of feel into it more. And all the parts that I named of the body are all the externals, but we can go in internal too. Your intestinal tract, your liver, again, the heart. We kind of just barely touched on the heart earlier. Some vertebrae in your back. Really allowing yourself to go deep into whatever body part you've picked and feel it more deeply. Go into more details if you can. And if you don't feel like you can do that, it's like, well, just pretend that you're going in there. It's a good place to start, to allow yourself to just open up to the possibility that you actually are bringing your awareness into that area. Yeah. And as you bring more of yourself into, and by yourself through your awareness into that area, the more whatever's in there that's making you unconscious of that area or is creating pain or is creating illness slowly starts to shift out. I actually do that a lot. Not a lot. I don't need to do it so much. But I have used this for a lot of physical issues, for flus and colds is a tendency to feel it out here, stuff that's out here. Clear that out, and wow, like all of a sudden the flu and the cold is gone. Sometimes it takes more than a little bit moment because it's about going in there and really holding yourself in that. I've also done that with a lot of neck stuff and other things. Shoulder pain, clearing out stuff with my gut, really bringing myself that awareness of my gut. That actually cleared something out on my shoulder. That was pulling my shoulder. That was like feeling like tendon was literally out of place. That cleared up and it's taken care of. So, not saying that you can necessarily do that with all your physical issues, because sometimes it's like the physical body needs attention at the physical level. So, what you're doing here is really working at the awareness, at the energetic, at the frequency level, at the non-physical level, doing that. That can be enough, but sometimes we just need that support at the physical level. So whether it's taking supplementation, massage oil, for example, with um, tight muscles, or if we need surgery or whatever. So it's not necessarily one or the other. Uh, Depends on where you're at. Depends on what you need, what needs to happen to bring that alignment back of that spirit with your physical body. And sometimes, yes, we do need to have that surgery. And somebody I studied with a while back, Rosalind Briere, she had to have surgery somewhere. They had to take out some tissue, and she said for her, what happened was that it's like removing that tissue was like just cleared out the whole, released out all the distortions that were stuck in those tissues that weren't budging else otherwise. And she said she actually, I can't remember exactly what she said, but I think it's something along the lines that she felt so clean after surgery. So It's not either or. It's whatever's needed to shift that, to bring that alignment of spirit and with that physical form, with the human form back together, back in. So let's take a nice deep breath into that. Release it out. Come back into the awareness of your physical environment. Look around you for a moment. Feel yourself. You should probably feel yourself a bit more present, a bit more centered, a bit more quiet internally. You might feel like you're noticing your environment, what's in your environment more. And not necessarily more in terms of detail, but just feeling like it's almost brighter. Everything might feel more still also around you. So that's that coming into this present moment, coming into your presence, into your being. That's what it feels like. And it's not about having that quiet environment around you. It's nice to use that to, kind of give us that space where we're not so kind of jostled around by what's happening externally, to really get familiar with that connection for ourselves, get familiar with connecting with ourselves. We don't have too many environmental distractions, sensory input, information coming in. But this is what coming into being is for. This is bringing that space so that you have that, within yourself, and you can find that regardless of what's happening around you. This is what the masters brought to us, showed us, because that's what they lived. All right. There we go for coming into being for today. And just take a moment to just be present. Maybe feel yourself kind of expanding out, radiating out, whatever word fits the best. So there we have it for another coming into being pause in your day, wherever you are. October's coming to an end. Yeah, thank you. Diana says, thank you very much, everyone. Yes, thank you too for showing up. That's being part of that. That's fun. Nice to have all of you on here. And coming into being, we've got one more class. What do I say? Pure Life Infusions. So we're starting next on November 7th is our November Pure Life Infusions reply. Starting up, it's going to be an interesting month. Just the information that's starting to come through about what we're going to be doing. But really some very deep clearing. My curtain looks exactly like what you get. Oh, really? That's so cute. There's our curtain. That's great. Yeah, coming into that pure essence of self. So we're really going to be doing some really deep work And more than just clearing, really starting to bring some fresh structures. What I call them structures because that's how I see them. Um, uh, frequencies, structures, and for really coming into a new place, into that purity of essence for ourselves as we move in forward into get ready for the new year and new paradigm that's coming in more and more and more strongly. So that's starting on November 7th. We've got one more Monday in October, so we're having a very, very full month on working on the pure God. Wrote a little bit of short article blog on my blog, so check that out at unboundedfree.com on the pure God and how that connects up with um, our power, owning our power and ourselves. And that's all for today. So next Wednesday, coming into being as always at 9 o'clock. To look at the thing because it's like I'm still having to do that. Okay, it's 9 o'clock here in Europe, 9 p.m. here in Europe, and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ilaria, I focus on my right and left eye. Right eye with cataract surgery, but got blepharitis and can't release it. I have no idea what blepharitis, can't receive it. And then your next question, am I not seeing something on my path of this journey? You know, focus on just coming into your eye and don't worry about where it's coming from because this shoulder thing, I would have never guessed that there was this connection between what's going on the gut level and it wasn't the gut, it was literally the belly button stuff that was being released out of that. Uh, so just put all that, what is that about? Just come into your eye, and I'm not sure what blepharitis, and if I'm even saying it correctly, but obviously I'm assuming it's the eyes because you're talking about your eyes there. So get a anatomy book, an anatomy image, like a cross section of an eye, and really like see. It's like notice the diagram, what the diagram is showing you, and as you're looking at this diagram, kind of say to yourself, "Okay, this is my eye that I'm looking at. Feel it, feel in there, go in there." And because it's like, okay, feel that inside of your eyeball. You can do that, but it'll help you with the physical image because that's gonna the lens of your eye. See if you can feel that ciliary muscle that pull that work with the lens for the focusing, and coming into that. You can do one eye at a time, or you can do both eyes. But what I would say, it's like, okay, look at that uh, diagram, anatomy diagram, and whether it's your eyes or anything else, guys. So I'm doing the eyes because she brought up the eyes, but you can do this with anything, any part, any physical part, body part. So you're noticing the lens. It's like, okay, that's my right eye, and just kind of close your eyes and just feel yourself kind of feeling that lens of your right eye, and then do the left eye, and then see if you can do them together. So work through that. As you do that, instead of like now trying to figure out what that significance is and clearing up that significance, just come into your body. And as you do that, as you focus on just being in your body, then you might start to get the information about why that's coming up in a much clearer way. Is this solid self I think I'm feeling within that helps me to stabilize in my center, my true self, wanting to confirm I'm feeling it from within, not externally. Okay. So take a deep breath into yourself, Kayla. Like just feel yourself in your body. Feel yourself inside your skin. Okay. Can you feel that inside your skin or is it outside of you? What are you noticing as you really connect in with yourself and just really pull yourself in? So I'll give you a moment to feel into that and then post your answer to my question. So again, the question is, when you really come into yourself, do you feel that like inside, let's say inside the boundaries of your skin, or are you feeling from something outside of you? I'm just waiting for you to post your reply, Caleb, before I say anything else. Kinda we start having these interesting terms we have to for ourselves, because like the true self, I feel a jumbled mess of stuff inside, so I'm having a hard time telling. That's cute. I like that. Um, okay, so this is going to be a little bit more useful for you than your previous question. You still have this piece where you're still learning to come into yourself, and you're still unsure about really being inside yourself because you've been so used to being external to yourself, that when you come in, it feels like a jumbled up mess. And so when you come in, it's sort of like, well, do I want to go here? Am I here? Is it this? Is that? Because you've been externalized so for so long. So um, just kind of just be present with the jumbled up mess and just kind of notice that. Connecting in with yourself and that internal level is gonna feel like that jumbled up mess. But it doesn't mean you're not connected with yourself. Just means that you're really learning to come into yourself and kind of it's not reorganize your let's see, it's kind of you moved into this house and you just kind of unpacked everything in the boxes everywhere and you've been just kind of living that way for a while because you've always been outside the house. You haven't been spending a lot of time inside your house. So you're starting to come back into that house. It's like, well, shit, I moved into this house a while back. There's all these boxes everywhere still, right? So that's sort of what's happening to you. It's like you're coming back in, even though you've been living there for umpteen years, but because you've been spending so much time external to the house. You haven't really paid attention to the boxes and the stuff all over the place. So it might feel like a jumbled up mess, but by coming back into yourself and just hanging out with that feeling, mm, that will kind of start to put order in all that. So yeah, good question. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So the truth self, yeah, let me come back to that. I'm kind of running late, but that's fine. Uh, we started having all these terminology that we could use, so it kind of gets a little convoluted. Our true self, our higher self, our pure self, and those terms are really to help us distinguish something that we have a sense that is not us, that is not, that we don't feel is us, that we feel is different, that we feel disconnected from. It's like, we and so we have a sense of that difference, and it's like, well, okay, I want my true self, because we have a sense that the way we've been isn't quite who we are. There's a sense of struggle. There's a sense of disconnection, and so all these terms, just to help us feel that our way into connecting with ourselves and being really present with ourselves. So um, yeah. So good work, everybody. Work in progress. It's a continuing adventure until the end of time, actually. Because we're always unfolding. There's always existence is always unfolding, and there's always more to discover about ourselves. So thank you all for being here. We'll call it a day, and see you next time on Coming Into Being on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have to think about this. 9 p.m. Central European Time. And for those of you in the Apply program, we'll see you on Monday. And if anybody who cares to join, we'll see you next month. If you care to join, just check it out on the website. That makes sense and it helps. I think it was external, um, not necessarily, but okay. Okay, and Diana, sayonara, and see you next time. Thanks for joining.